Welcome, Sarah Knowles. Glad you made it. A river of rocks just froze there. can identify as Mike. That's okay. All right, folks, we're getting there. We've got to do a show in a minute, so. All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back, and I know it's been a few days, and I could hear people stressing and worrying. You're gonna be back? Yeah, I told you I will be back. Okay. All right. So let's get this show on the road. Whoops, go forward in reverse. There we go. All right. So while we're getting this show going here, I'm gonna take a moment to thank most of you, or all of you, the ones that are remaining, for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this precious family. And when you make it to the spiritual report here, I think you'll understand what I mean by that. So let's get the show on the road, shall we? Here we are, October 15th, 2024. And it's a short little blip because we're missing a bunch of data down here. Notice our data jumped from 7 to 22. Okay, so we're missing a bunch. But let's just cover what we got. Okay. And we're just going to back up to our opening frame, or just this, opening frame right there. I'll try to cheer you guys up a little bit too. You know, it's been a rough week. As for me, that's for sure. That's why I haven't been here. But that's later on. Okay, so our opening frame here is at 236, and we're just going to kind of pop right through this little event coming out down here. Okay, you can see your little spheroids picked up some plasma coming out with a little plasma attached to it already. As it comes on out, you can see it over on this side. Oops. And that was it. Over here, you can make it out in this last frame right here. A little magnetic field around it and plasma that's pulling out with it and stuff, okay? But what we need to do really is kind of go back in the last few days and cover some stuff that, I haven't been here to report on. And here's the 14th, and it's not a bunch of data either. So we're just going to catch what we can catch here. Whoops. Get that opening frame here. Okay, so it starts off here at 236. And for those of you with eyes, you can see what's going on here. We have multiple little objects right here, all fanned out, coming out in this little shotgun. Let's go more like that so you can see a little brighter. Something changed with my tripod over the week. Anyways, you can see all these ones. This one riding the barrier line right here, the dent in the instrumentation from it. Okay, you can see these other ones. So it's almost like a shotgun blast of a bunch of little small ones. Okay, so what did you do with your wife, Mike? Oh, you guys are so much fun. Anyways, you can see this big scattering here. Okay, so we start off with that, and then let me just slide a little and continue. You can also make out something else going on right here, moving on out. And then note this line coming through here. This is the tail of your comet streaking through there, actually connecting with the CME. See the instrumentation reacting to it right there? We back up a couple frames. See, there's a few frames right here as this tail crosses a boundary, a magnetic boundary line there. It interacts with the CME for a minute there. Pretty interesting. Never seen this on the satellite before, which is cool. And then you can see, look at the ghostly image right here. This little guy popping out right through there. Hopefully you guys can see that one. And these are black spherical objects. They don't reflect light. They absorb light. So you can't see them. Only when they're draped with plasma draping around them, does it paint the target, much like an invisible table when you throw a tablecloth over it. It paints the contour, the edges, the corners and stuff, giving you what's there, okay? Painting your target, basically. And then, as you can see, as that comet crosses, you can see a bunch of other stuff coming out. This event over here with a bigger object right there. All right, and well, it might be even something bigger in the background. Yeah, there's a medium-sized one right in here with a bunch of moons. And let me try doing this for you. No, what's going on with my brightness here? Maybe I'm not that bright tonight. Get it? I'm not that bright. All right, anyways, right here, your black spherical, bigger, medium, or your medium-sized object. You can see your flow coming out, going around it. Some of the other satellite moons caught up in it. It's a small little solar system, basically, with a central object and a bunch of little orbiting satellite or moons. I call them satellites. They're not man-made satellites. They're, just an object orbiting a bigger object satellite. Okay, so there's your bigger black object back there in the background. You can see the flow coming out, bending and going around it. Okay, that's our typical flow. And you can see this plasma that's reached out and latched onto it right here. Okay, so medium-sized object right there, back on the 14th. Oh man, all the coyotes are going nuts in the field right now. All right, and then it ends with this frame right here, which appears to be another event right there. You can almost see it getting painted on this side. See your darker area with plasma wrapped around the backside of this already. How is plasma wrapped around the backside of the spherical object already? You see the two little moons, ghostly little satellite moons going along with it there? Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, so our sun is interacting with all these, dark matter objects. They're, for lack of a better term, they're dark matter. They don't reflect light. You don't necessarily see these things like you would see the moon, because the moon reflects the light back at us. What happened to Dawn here? You were supposed to have a wrench tonight, buddy. I just gave you a wrench a little while ago. Spice Chat, I need a tutorial on how to operate it, and I'm serious. Okay, Don, well, we'll give you a tutorial. Just chill, enjoy. But here, right here, you can see this round circular shape right there, the cutout. And then, it's like it almost has two eyes on it, but... So there's that event back on the 14th, and I didn't report on the 13th either, and we're going to have to report on the 13th because it covers part of, tomorrow's forecast. All right, so, oh man, my tripod got all messed up. Okay, and you can see your comet tail coming in, approaching the sun right here, streaking through. You can make a faint hint of it over here. All kinds of other activity going on this one. So let's catch this opening frame. Whoops. If we can catch it a little closer. There we go. So our opening frame here for the 13th is at 0136. So let me slide just a tad bit and grab a little bit more of this butt. All right. So here we are opening on the 13th. Boom. Pretty good widespread, mass ejection right there, almost a full 3/4 halo. And we got a bunch of little objects that came out on this round here too a few days ago. Okay, so we had that event on the 13th, and then the 14th I just showed you, and then here's today, just this little bit on the 15th, okay? And then we'll open up the 16th in a little bit here, so let's move on into the SolarHam now. Okay, our solar flux index is down 10 points. It's back down into the yellow since our last little since our last report. So that's good. We're down 10 points under the red. Our sunspot number count is in the green now at 141. We're down another 5 points, or another 5 spots, we'll say. The area is in the green. So we've had kind of a smooth little, not smooth, but it hasn't been too bumpy lately, let's just say. Now, so come on over here. We can see that we got 3854 this and 3852. This little configuration blob right here. These two mixed together that are still, still a threat right there. Okay, meanwhile, everything over on this side looks pretty quiet and stuff too. So let's go ahead and back on out and slide on over. And for you ladies, a little dip while we're dancing. And let's see how fluxed we are. Goes X-ray flux, that is. All right, you can see here, the last few days, we've had this up and down, bumpy type little ride going on. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so it's been, a little roller coaster ride, just little hit and misses here and there. Okay, not too much, not too bad. Nothing, except for this last little event right here. Boy, what happened here? Oh, I wish we could take a peek at that. Oh, wait, we could go back here. We could back out of this and take a peek at the 16th here. You guys don't want to see that, huh? Even if I refreshed and got all the data, well, tough. We're going to do it anyway. All right, so our little event right here probably is what's inducing that spike, and there's something else going on down here as well. Okay, so there's trailing little moons or satellites from our previous events. Or also could be ones that are preceding a bigger one, a bigger event. You see this spire region that we have right here that's all glowing? They act like compass needles. They point at inbound objects or ones that have already kind of pulled away and still trailing away. Over here, you can see the spread from this trailing event over here, or possibly another one coming in. All right, so... Oh, it's okay, Dawn. We love you. Relax, enjoy. You're with family. All right, so as you can see, not much to really look at there. So, anyways, it did produce quite a little semi-long duration M-class event right there. So we'll see later if that's heading towards us. Right now, we got bigger fish to fry. Now, over here to our geomagnetic forecast, we've got this G1 calling for, or on the 16th calling for a G1, all right, and that would be for what came off the sun on the 13th, which I just showed you a minute ago here on the 13th, would be this event right here. I should have left it there. Okay, so possibly this lower event right here, or the whole three-quarter spread coming our way. So we do have a CME inbound, and they're predicting a G1 event. Okay, well, that we all know that can change in magnitude. Let's just pray that it's a G1 and nothing too much stronger. Meanwhile, X flare potential back in the green at 10%, M flare potential at 55. We did have some M flares, a couple of 3.7s, a 3 and a 2.1. Okay, over here you can see the auroras nice and quiet. Lately, our KP index has been pretty normal. We had a little spike here, but nothing too bad, which is good news. We do not need to be absorbing any more geomagnetic impacts. I know the auroras are beautiful. We get a lot of nice, pretty pictures, but they're very dangerous. A lot of radiation coming in. I saw a question in the chat tonight. When's the most dangerous time to be out? Well, when there's aurora. Okay. Meanwhile, a lot of this energy hits the auroras, gets transferred to the poles. Up here where the auroras are, the poles transfer down to the core, and then the core heats and swells. So we'll get into that later. Meanwhile, our AR3854 is only beta gamma, and that 5254 combination, they're only beta gamma, so that's good. And one of them's declining, so that's even better. Now, a large solar filament is currently facing Earth and stretches more than 300,000 kilometers across the sun's southern hemisphere. The plasma-dense feature is currently anchored into place to the sun's surface of the sun, also known as the photosphere. Okay, most times they will remain in place for days or even weeks at a time, only to be reabsorbed by the sun. Every now and then they can lift off or erupt and lead to a large coronal mass ejection, something to keep an eye on over the next several days. In other news, 3848 is now located behind the west limb. AR 52 and 54, located in the southwest quadrant, is now considered the most likely threat for at least moderate M flares. Okay, in fact, AR 3854 produced an M2.1 flare at 1833. And there's your little regions, a colorful little picture of the sun, but it's not. It doesn't really. Well, this picks out that filament pretty well. All right. And any kind of object passing by could stretch that out and make it snap, or it could be attached to one of these things as well. Hard to say in that photo right there because of the timestamp, but not showing anything on here. Over on this side, I want to just kind of briefly touch on this little impact that they're showing here on the 12th. Okay, so let this finish up here. We got something, well, not on this map. This little blub, that's due way out here. All right, anyways, there's still a little rise in plasma density around the 12th. We'll see what happens here with this, okay? And we got another major thing to report on here in just a minute. But you can see here in this little GIF right here from C3, the line crossing right there, and then you can see our big event down below here. I believe this is the one that they're thinking of might head our way because, well, we're in the southern quadrant of the sun. We're not right at the sun's equator. We're just a little south of that. So anything would come out in that direction, go underneath the planet and still affect us. All right, so almost looks like a flashlight shining on this. Pretty weird. So we got to keep going here. Let me back out of this really quick. Also, October 14th, AR 3848, the source of the X1.8 solar flare in CME, which led to the worldwide display of aurora on October 10th and 11th, is now turning onto the west limb. So all other sunspot regions are currently stable with the exception of an occasional minor C flares. Alrighty, now we're going to continue on. Hang in there. We got something to show you on the Schumann that's going to, well, explain a lot. Let's just get through this really quick. Geomagnetic storm watch, the G1 minor G1 class geomagnetic storm watch is possible on October 16th due to the CME now en route to Earth. It was launched from the sunspot on the 11th. And is expected to deliver only a glancing blow. From the 11th to the 16th, that's a 5-day gap, usually 3 days. So maybe that's a typo. We could go back and take a peek at the 11th, but let's just stick with what's coming on the 16th. Now, watch SOHO cross the comet's orbital plane. Like Earth, the Solar and Heliosphere Observatory, SOHO crossed the orbital plane of cosmic Atlas. The movie is over here. Come check it out. All right, everybody hold on. Here we go. So here we are over at the Schumann. And, well, this was yesterday. I kept it up for right here so I didn't lose this little spot. Okay, our other Schumann is up as well. Let me just pop up the other Schumann really quick, too. Our Russian site is, I like this one a little bit better. Here you can see we've had the last 3 days. Here's our regular Schumann report. This is just a dropout in data. Okay, so pretty good, strong field for the last few days, and no, no peaks, no valleys, none of this, emotional roller coaster. Right here, you can just see we're starting to get a little white streak right here. So, but all in all, we've had a pretty smooth sailing for the last few days. But back here on this Schumann, now this is the 12th, October 12th, between, 12 and 6 o'clock, we had this, okay? Now, we're going this way across the Schumann in time, all right? So we started off the day, we're going along, a little scratches, but not too bad. All of a sudden, we get scraping, grinding at the core shell right around. You can see it. It's, low frequencies here. This is the same thing turned upside down. It's basically this chart just turned upside down with all the streaks that point down are now pointing back up. All right. So we start grinding through this, and then all of a sudden we get some intense grinding. And then look how dark it goes. Look how black it goes. All right. You can tell when the field gets weak sometimes when it's glowing really good and green and vibrant and strong. And look at this, especially at the 7.83 level. Let me just get up close and friendly with it. Okay, I want you guys to sit there and think about this, what you're looking at for a minute there, okay? That's your magnetic field, crack in the magnetic field, your Schumann resonance getting very, very weak, totally weak, and just barely grinding at like at 1 megahertz. There's still some barely grinding going on right there. That is a disturbing signature right there. Okay. And I've had ones that are, I've seen the one where, well, I labeled it the earth stood still. It's more like the core of the earth stood still for a minute. And we're still have a slight magnetic field, okay, because of magnetic properties that reside in the planet itself. But your dynamo down below almost seized up to where it's just barely grinding a little tiny bit, and you can see the red lines there at the bottom. Okay. That was the result of our G4 magnetic storm and the pressure that built up. We did not have the pressure release like we should have. Okay. It did not bust out. We did not see the big magnitude earthquake. We didn't see some, impressive volcano eruptions. Instead, we saw this. And I did not want to report on this for a couple of days now. Okay. It's been a while. Thankfully, we haven't had any more of this return. Okay. But what just happened there was not good. All right. This instrument back probably a few days back there, it probably didn't show it. They probably glitched out the data or something like this. But this black line right here is not that effect. It's a lot different. And I'll show you the event that happened before. I'll show you on this Russian site a little bit better what happened before. All right, so this is why we do this show, because, well, this is very important stuff. And a lot of people don't understand what the Schumann is, how it works, what propagates it, and they're stabbing at all these guesses and stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, that is not good right there. So, got that out of the way. All right, thank you, Lord, for the strength to get through that part of the report. Now, over here to some other disturbing news as well. Our tropical convergence zone, all right, this line right here where air flowing up from the southern hemisphere meets air from the northern hemisphere, and they kind of run into each other and then turn back away. Well, that convergence line, the tropical convergence zone, is supposed to be down here at the equator. It has now shifted 15 degrees in latitude north up to here, and come over to this side of the planet. You see this air coming up right here from across the equator. It used to go up a little higher. It's actually getting better on this side. It's pushing back down a little bit, but still it's above the equator. That's your tropical convergence zone has shifted. Over on this region, you can see it goes way up here. Okay, up to that I'm trying to think what parallel this is. I'll have to get a reference, but that's a 15-degree jump from the equator to that parallel right there. So look over here in the Pacific, it kind of gets dissipated through this area. All right, so now we're going to get over to our sandstorm report. Let me just pull up some vortex activity really quick. That is all kind of calmed down a little bit for the moment, okay, which is good. I'd like to see that, a calming of the vortex activity instead, because, well, we don't need all that much. All right, so let me come over here and go ahead and pull up the sand now. Particulates. Yeah. Dust and extinction aerosol. Huh, nice label. As you can see, we have this nice plume coming off of here. It's been caught up in this conveyor belt and stretched across this region. Okay, so now we got this little protection blanket here of sand, which is good at this time of year because it's quelling our hurricane production. And as we come back over here, you can see that it's gone way up here into Sweden, Norway, or sorry, that's not Sweden, Norway. That's up by the Great Britain and Ireland, and then back down into this region. Still spread all across that region. And over here, you can see that this has calmed down a little bit, a lot actually. And that one's still there, but not too bad. And so we've had a little calming here for a minute. This region's still kind of got some sand in there, so but things have kind of calmed down for a moment there. Now let's get on over to our SO2. This is kind of good news. I like to report good news sometimes, or all the time. Take the wind off there. I hate being the bearer of bad news and having to do that. All right, so let's come around here to America. You can still see, here's the bad news part. America's still divided, but someday we will probably unite. But you can see the right half of the side bleeding out. We got, soft, porous crust there that's spongy, so all kind of perforations, and it just bleeds out SO2. Meanwhile, on the left side is more rocky, mountainous granite type terrain with perforations, volcanic perforations in the crust leaking SO2. Okay, so let's get into our SO2, and we're going to do a fire report at the same time because, up here we had fire activity due to this SO2 emissions, but now it has crept into the lower 48, and here is your fire activity being caused by SO2 emissions. Now, SO2 is basically like vaporized magma. It comes out of the ground so hot. The gas itself, the heat plume from the gas is so hot that it can cause vegetation around it to spontaneously combust, causing wildfires. And coincidentally, we have wildfires all around our strong SO2 emission sites. Okay, they correlate because they're the cause of the fires. All right, they want you to think, oh, DEW weapons started this stuff. No, no, no. And I can smell smoke where I'm at, and look at all these fires that have just popped up in this whole region in the Central Valley, California. There's even one up here by Tahoe, down by Mammoth here. So we got some fires breaking out because we got round of pressure pushing SO2 up to the surface, causing plumes. Look over here by Salt Lake City. I mean, it goes up into Idaho, Montana, even into Wyoming. All right, so there's something you're not going to see on your nightly news, and probably not on a lot of other channels either, because once upon a time ago, there was 4 little dots along the Sierra Crest, and BP Earthwatch brought it to attention, and the whole world freaked out. Well, now there's more than 4 dots, but I don't see anybody paying attention. There's too much political stuff going on, so... Meanwhile, we have wildfires being sparked by SO2 emissions, okay? Now, the gas itself isn't flammable, but it comes out of the ground so hot is the problem. And some of these sites might be leaking methane, which is flammable, so... Too bad we don't have a methane thing on this sensor. So here's Oahu, the hub of the Pacific Rim, much like a bicycle rim. It has pressure in the middle here too. So it releases its pressure and SO2 emissions from Oahu and volcanic activity and earthquake activity from the main island. Coming on over to this side of the world, let's adjust for their time zone really quick. 8 hours back. Thank you. And you can see that they got their strong emission sites going on. Very spongy crust area in here. You can see it's gone up into this region, down into the Korean Peninsula, driving everybody crazy. And now they think they can just, look how tiny this peninsula is. You can't just go doing all sorts of crazy stuff on that much land. So watch out. It poisons their minds too. And you can see that Japan here, being a volcanic island system in itself, has, got SO2 emissions, and everything's really dark purple tonight. You come down, you can see Taiwan still, it's even darker now than before. We need quake activity out of that region to relieve pressure. We got SO2 emissions through the Philippines. I like to come down here and check Java because it's been another relief valve. Lots of SO2 emissions coming out of there. Oh, did you see a lion? All right, come back over here. There has been a lot of lion activity, cat faces, all over the place. Seems to be a theme lately. So if you saw one somewhere, it does not surprise me. Meanwhile, let's get back to Java really quick because I want to talk about Sumatra right here too, because it's darkening in, filling in, a couple little bald patches, but that's about it. It's all turning purple and stuff. And same with these islands now that are off the coast of Sumatra, all emitting SO2. Okay, and then we have another island up here that's not an island yet, that's on the heat signatures, that's going to be an island someday. All right. Then we also have SO2 emissions coming out of India. The wind rips it up, pushes it against the Himalayas. It can't make it over the Himalayas, so it just gets recycled. That area darkening in. This area darkening in too. You can see all that region is filled in lately. Okay, so there's all of that. And, one last thing I want to touch base on here. For our earthquake report later on, note Fiji has SO2 emissions, and then this island right here has 2 SO2 emissions right there, and it relieves pressure in that area of the plate tectonic system. Whew. Let's get back to, where are we going again? Did we get that? Oh, okay, here we go for the sea surface temperature anomalies. You come up here, start off on the west coast. You can see this whole region doing the triangle thing again. All right. It used to be just the common structure right here. Now this area has filled in. And, whoa. Look at this face. That eye, that nose, horn, looking right at that area. All right, anyways, this little patch right here has really gone down in size and color and diminished in pressure. I think because of these openings over here have also kind of turned from yellow to red and diminished in pressure because we have bigger openings out here now. There were pressure transfer came more out to this region, which is fine. That's good. It keeps this cold water inundation running along the coastline there. And it's a good indication that pressure has relieved around the Bay Area. See that? Remember we had this red thing that came down to here. So good news for the Pacific here. The Bay Area pressure's been really reduced. And look out here at the Juan de Fuca. We used to have all these little red blobs that came like fingers into here. All that's diminished and reduced. And from the fulcrum point out to this fulcrum point and then up through the system, it's all blue water. So we've had some pressure releases in the last few days. Some earthquake activity has relieved some pressure there. But we also have this bigger triangle of pressure, big cold water patch right here. And then your Tamumasi area with volcanic vents on the ocean floor, venting either steam, hot water, magma, even possibly, heavier metals from down below. The Atlantic, just really quick down here. This area look at this here at Java. We're starting to see cold water on the shore, just a little bit creeping right there. So we must have had some good, pressure releases, either SO2 emissions or volcanic blasts here on Java. And we're starting to see a little hint of cold water in there. Can you see that? So a little bit of good news to report there as well. Look at this big old strip that it's opened up right here of yellow. There we go. Let's get the coloration in there for you. Right there. So we've had a different effect. Something opened up here and it's relieved pressure in the region. Pressure transfers to, path of least resistance. So it relieved pressure here. We also had this little spot right here. There was a fourth or another island growing right off of this spot, and that has relieved in pressure. Remember, we had that yellow dot right there for a while. Meanwhile, we had that yellow dot that was growing right out here that has been relieved in pressure because we have had a new unzipping right there. That's where our pressure got relieved right there. The core seized up when we cracked the engine block. I hope that's not what we're seeing. I pray to God that's just a current or something. Meanwhile, you can see what's going on down here off the coast of South America as well. Heat signatures from down below. Also, we had this one right here, an opening way out here off this island, and it's diminished in pressure as well. It was disrupting the La Nina that was starting to take off, so we might have a delayed La Nina, or we might not have one. If this kind of activity, if we got a new one opening here and something opening here and hot water getting pumped into this La Nina, it's not going to, look at this spot right here. That's what happened. Another spot opened up right here. So we've had a little change over the last few days. Wish we could, I really wanted to report on this every day, but I've just been bombarded. And I can't talk about it now, but in the spiritual realm, you will see what I just went through. So, let's get the wind on there and let the little conveyor belts do the thing. I'm gonna pull back. Cold water produces cold air over it. Hot water produces hot air over it. Hot air rises. Cold air rushes in to replace it, causing rotation. So here's hot air rising. Hot air here is rising. Cold air rushing in to replace it, causing rotation. You can see this has got a little kick from that cold water. So here's your conveyor belt system that's guiding your weather that's being produced at, because of the thermal pockets down below. Then come over here to the Atlantic. Oh, are you? What the? This cold water, do you see this zigzag following? Oh boy, let's just get it over here. It's following the mid-Atlantic ridge. There is cold water coming out of the mid-Atlantic ridge right here, or something is going along this path. I saw a heat signature there the other day. Now it's cold. This is odd. We may have had, I saw a heat signature here the other day, all right? And it looked like we had a crack that had opened up right here, all right? And really didn't want to report on that. But now we're seeing cold water along this crack. and it might be an indication of water from a lower strata in the crust that's coming up through the seafloor. If we have indeed cracked the engine block here, and the heat signature I saw before this, then a day later correlating with the cold water signature, this might be something we're going to have to watch carefully here. Anyways, you can see that the cold water introduced with the hot water has produced a conveyor belt structure again, and you can see the hot water in this area, cold water here. This is where our sandstorm's blowing out and blowing across. This hot water, hopefully we keep getting sand coming off the Africa that diminishes the cloud top height. Meanwhile, here's your Gulf. And this little hot cold signature right here produced rotation and vorticity, and that got caught up and went up and through there. So we got to watch this region when we have a opening in another area and a transfer of pressure. Sometimes the vortex activity dies down. It has to be a good, healthy, hot, cold mix. It can't be lukewarm. It has to be pretty hot and pretty cold to get that vorticity. And it looks like it's kind of diminished that activity in this region. You can see one thing rotating right here, barely, but it's being taken out this way. So that's good. Also, we got some cold water right here. You see that? That's a good sign. A cooler pocket of water right here and a different airflow. Instead of having air coming up through the Gulf and going straight up this avenue, it's actually coming down this avenue and blowing that stuff away and into Mexico. So this latest configuration here has changed things up a tad, and we're also in transition season where we're transitioning from, summer into fall, and, deeper into fall we get, there's the, I wish it was a little further down so we could use this for this comparison down here. When it slips like that, I used to try to compare it there. But anyways, let's move on. All right, let's get the quake report done here. We haven't had a quake report in a minute. Now, because of our pressure that came in, looks like we had a different kind of releasing of energy there. So we still have deep quakes. They're bringing pressure up from down below. It's our typical magnitude, mid-range 4 down to 582. Here's a 4.5 down at 402, not as deep. It's a little higher up, so pressure coming up through the strata. There's a 4.6 down at 530, so 2 deeper quakes with a mid-range quake right there. We come down to this region, 4.9. You know what we do with those here. And right off the plate boundary, here's a 5.2 and a 5.0 here along the plate boundary, relieving energy at the surface, okay, scrubbing energy at the surface. Deeper quakes come into this region, and lately at the beginning of the crack, we haven't seen much earthquake activity anymore because this island right here vents SO2. It acts like a slow leak in a bicycle tube. So say you're pumping pressure in the valve stem here and you're pumping up, this is the bicycle tube right here, saying it's got a leak in it. So air's coming out as you're pumping pressure in. That way magnitudes don't build up so strong, and we don't have much quake activity in that region. It comes up, bends a corner, but here's a 4.8 at the surface on the plate boundary. Over here, this is 5.3 at the surface, scrubbing energy at the surface. So we're seeing a lot of surface quakes, scrubbing energy. Here's a 4.8 at the surface again. 4.5 down at 122. That's right along this volcanic ridge of that island. Earthquake activity at a volcanic site. Indication of pressure coming up through the strata. Nothing through here, okay? We had good blasts and good SO2 emissions, cold water inundation in this area because look how quiet it is on quake activity. Okay, come over here just off of Taiwan. is our 4.5 down at 27. That's a volcanic island. So earthquake activity at the flank of a volcano, indication of pressure down below, making its way to the surface. 5.2 at the surface right there. So we did have a slight uptick in our magnitudes, 5, 5.2s, 5.2, 5 point, just a slight uptick, not much. We'll get to America here. Let's do the Cocos Plate right here. I saw some quake activity around this region and energy coming up through this way, but it seems to just be relieving and scrubbing energy at the surface. Here's your 5.2 right there. A little bit out here. This is your odd quake because it's off of the plate boundary zone. Out here, oh, look at this little island there. So you can see right along here, stuff struggling to make it to the surface. One has, okay? But out here, there's not much. It's all flat plain area. There's a few little seamounts around. And here you have this 4.6 at the surface. So in between this little island chain right here and this little one out here, you got a little seamount out there rocking and rolling on the ocean floor. Coming up through here really quick. 4.4 at the surface, 4.5 a little further down. Not much over there. Let's go finish up this side. Just really quick over here. 4.2 for Turkey at the surface there. And over here at Greece, a 4.8 down at 40. So energy, nothing around your fulcrum points, but finally making its way out that way. Oh, down here, South Sandwich Islands, really quick. 5 at the surface, 4.6 there, and what's this other one? 4.3. Okay, good. Now let's do America, all magnitudes for America. Lots of activity been going on over at the Kamchatka lately as far as volcanoes and stuff, so no quake activity over here at all. It's been all volcano activity lately. A lot of micro quaking going on. These islands through here. Little magnitude check really quick. 3.6. That's a little under what we're used to seeing here. Well, right around it. 3.8. 3.6 is just a little under. Current one is 2.7. Fulcrum point. Inside fulcrum 2. Outside fulcrum 2.2. Way up there some, way up there some, but let's get into here. What I want to do here, the Juan de Fuca, just really quick, here's your fulcrum point, your 2.1 here at the surface, and a little inland push with a 1.6, but I want to go for a week here, 7-day, all magnitude. All right. And let's talk about what's happened here at the Juan de Fuca over the past few days here that has relieved pressure in this area. I just showed you 2 quakes here from today. There was this one earlier in the week, 2.8 there. And then this little cluster right here, 3.1, 3.0, 3.0 again, right along these little, see these jagged little pointed edges that come down through here, multiple fulcrum points in here, little fractures, it's like a shattered piece of glass. There's more than just one fulcrum point. They're all over the place. They're just broken little shards here and there. But this release of pressure right there in that central part and some down here at the fulcrum point has led to our reduction in pressure in this region here. Let me take off the wind, please, Lord. Okay, now our blue area comes all the way out and all the way up. These little fingers have like retreated in that area right here because we've seen some quake pressure and quakes reducing pressure in that region. I need a sip. All right, sorry about that. All right, now moving on, let's go back to just 1-day magnitude. All right, so there's your activity on the Juan de Fuca the past few days, relieving pressure in that area, which is good. Coming in here, you can see Nothing at Rainier, but a little bit of microquake activity around St. Helens. That's an indication of pressure down below. Volcanic activity or earthquake activity at volcanic site. Boy, I'm a little rusty after a few days. 2.2 in Gabs, Nevada. Look at this. You get your stuff going up here. You get your geysers here, relieving pressure. Little quake activity is 1.2. That's nothing. Just off the Bay Area right here. Daly City on the plate boundary is your 1.1. That is tiny, but it is energy being relieved along that little fracture zone. And we did see that reduction in red and the pressure out there and temperature out there. So that's good. That's good. Our quake activity is down for the moment. Look at this little area. This is beautiful. Here at the pinnacles, we're seeing multiple little widespread diversion of evenly dispersed energy. These are all about the same in energy, 1.9, 1.3, in that little range right there. Dispersing energy right there. That's good. Foothill, weak zone 2.5. Coastal weak zone, let's see. This pod type or teardrop type structure right here, the boundary of it goes right from the water into the shoreline here at Malibu. Oh, look, 1.3 at Malibu. A little bit of pressure right here being relieved, 2.3 at Laguna. All inside this teardrop shape or this eye-shaped structure. You can see the edge of it going up through here, quick. There on that side of it is 1.4. On the other side of it is 1.7. So just cutting right through there. Arcs hooks up at the plate boundary, goes right around the lake. 1.2 there. Good. All right, so we have our system doing its job again, relieving pressure. We got out here current activity here in New Mexico. Oh, this is Texas 2.3, just inside New Mexico right there. Okay, so that's good. Is this little fault line? You can see a little fault line that ran down through here. And just off of it is this little volcanic peak right there, double volcanic peak. You can see how it comes down to the foothills and to the flatlands. Right there is your weak zone, 2.7. Let's talk about fulcrum point on the New Madrid. 1.7. Okay, we're having a little movement around the fulcrum point here. This is an indication of pressure down below pushing on the craton under here. And right along the craton here, we got another 1.5 just inside of it. It's another 1.5. So these two are kind of rubbing around. Okay, we're getting a little pressure over on this side. Interesting. We'll have to watch that a little closer here. These are all little spots to watch. The next round of pressure that comes in, they could see a quake, an uptick in magnitude, but nothing too big. But that is something to watch especially with fulcrum point and right on the craton there. So, all right, there's your quake report. There's your Schumann report. Let's refresh this. I want to see if we got any more scrubbing going on there. Yeah, just a slight little white line, but nothing too bad. Okay, it's probably because we're doing the show right now. Now, let me clear out some of these instruments, and we will get on with our volcanic report. And then I will show you something on the Schumann that we will talk about here in a minute. Volcano discovery. 35 erupting, 32 in warning. And that's not even counting the ones that are at unrest. Okay, so I just stick with these conservative numbers. Okay, so when I'm telling you 65 active or 67 active volcanoes, that's not including these. Go tell your friends there's 67 active volcanoes. They'll go, no way. Did you know that there were 67 active volcanoes? Ask them that. They'll probably say no way. But you know, because you're over here. Anyways, here we go. 67. I mean, that's a lot. Back when this stuff started happening to me 7 years ago, if I'd have told you 67 volcanoes 7 years later, you would have said you're crazy. Well, here we are, and I'm still crazy about you. Let's get her done. Karaminski, the explosive activity continues to 10,000 feet. IBU, we were together at 20,000 feet. I do not believe we were hanging out together. IBU at 20,000 feet. 8,000. We're always chilling at 8 or 10 at the highest. What happened here? Maybe we've seen a lot of pressure blow a pretty high volcanic blast. Same with Karaminski, 10, 20 out of Ibu. Luatobi, 9,000. That's higher too. Semaru is no longer there because eruption last reported it blew up the island. No, I'm joking. No report of height there, but probably 14 or 15, okay? Ducono, 9,000. Santa Guido, 14. Fuego, 16. Sangay, 21. Reventador, 14. Sabancaya, 20. Notice how there's hardly any that are under 10,000? And that one is 9. You know, Semaru is 14. 9 here, so everything is just, 10,000, 9,000, pretty high blast. That's a lot of pressure coming out. And that was just in the last few minutes, okay? Here's the 15th. That was the 16th. Here's today, which is now tomorrow, because, well, time flies here at this channel. I could be gone for 3 days, and all of a sudden, here we are already, back again, huh? Back with Karaminski at 10,000, Sakurajima, 7. Suinosi, 6,000. Bunch of empty images. Okay, Luatobi. Okay, we get some Manam, 7,000. Ibu, 11,000. That's another high one for Ibu, okay? So we're usually seeing 8 to 10. Here's 11, and now the last one was 20. Luatobi was 8,000. Semaru, 14. See, I figured it was right around there. Santa Guido, 14. Fuego, sporadic gas emissions. Watch Fuego go from mild to explosive. Sabancaya, 20. All right, so a lot of volcanoes going off. This is not normal. We used to have one active volcano, and it was the island of Hawaii because, well, it's an active volcano. But now we have them all over the place. Look at all the red on this map. These are all active volcanoes. Up here on the right around the Kamchatka Peninsula here, we have Shibalus, Kluchevskoy, Bizamani, Karaminski, Adelaide, and Nebuco. All of those are currently active. So we haven't seen a lot of earthquake activity in that region because the pressure gets relieved via volcano instead. Over here, Stromboli and Etna. Everybody in that region, pay attention. When the sun does something, wake up. Don't be careful because these things are going off pretty good. Same up here in Iceland. Right now it's showing yellow, but all it takes is one little burp from the sun and it's going to go active again. Okay, so we're done there. Let's do our quick little weather and then we'll move on now. Get our tidbits done. And then I'll show you the day the Earth stood still, or more like the core stood still. Whoopsie, what happened here? I did not want that. I want the forecast models. Thank you. There we go. So here we are, current conditions. We do have G1 coming in tomorrow. So that's your current conditions. Here's tomorrow. So G1 could be slight enhancement of whatever's coming into the coast right there. That's your morning, noon, afternoon, or convection, evening, nighttime. So any kind of enhancement to that. Otherwise, there's morning of the 17th, noon, convection, nighttime. 18, noon, convection, nighttime. So a little storm coming across the Rockies there, something coming into the Pacific Northwest, nighttime of the 18th, morning of the 19th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 20th. This little area, watch out for that. You saw how it formed, how that all gelled and came together through that little process right there. So watch that in the morning into the 20th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 21st, noon, convection, nighttime, 22, noon, convection, nighttime, 23, noon, whoops, noon, convection, nighttime, 24, noon, convection, nighttime. Watch the West Coast starting to get activity, storms coming through as we change into late fall, getting into the winter time here where we start to see snow, on the West Coast here. Morning of the 25th, noon, convection, nighttime, 26th, noon, convection, nighttime, 27, noon, convection, nighttime, 28, noon, convection, nighttime, 29, noon, convection, nighttime, 30, noon, convection, nighttime. The morning of Halloween, the noon of Halloween, convection, Halloween, looking scary, trick or treat. Let's see what happens in the nighttime. There's no last frame there, so. Okay, that's way out there. Models will change, but did you notice there was no hurricanes coming up through this area that whole time? So let me just play that one loop really quick for you, real quick. Well, I take a second to let the cat out, take a drag, and you guys can have a 1-minute break to go to the bathroom, and then we'll get in the spiritual report. Yeah, I know you're out there. I'm sorry. You were so patient. Do you need other door? Okay, good. All right, we're back. Okay, so let's get into the spiritual part you guys all been waiting for. Really quick, I want to show you the Schumann from a while back, and we'll talk about what happens when you get too much activity from the sun building up pressure down below. So let's just type in the day the Earth stood still. The day. Did I get it? Hopefully, yeah. Yes, this one. No. That's that one. That's not the. It's part 2. Yep, it's that one. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is, well, let me just get this video backed up. Take out the chat here, go full screen, and let this video play for a second here. Try not to blow out your eardrums. Now, what you're seeing is the Schumann over a few days here. This was back in 2023. So I'm just going to let this play for a second. They don't have I was looking for all kinds of other instruments that show, the magnetosphere and what would happen. Okay, so here we go, folks. Everybody hold on tight because you see all this squeaking and all this pulsating and stuff. Now we are going to scroll down to the 11th right here. Look how dark this is.
a power of one. A power of one. There's like this little high intense squeak pop right way down deep, just a short little burst, but the rest of the Schumann resonance stops.
Let's see if we can lift this up just a tad bit.
It's quiet. The magnetic field went down. They had to yank those flights out of the air because the magnetic field went down. This is the
Okay, this was January 11th, 2023. This is the day they pulled all the flights down. It was weird how they were able to just like, all flights are canceled. No flying in the northern hemisphere. Well, you could see the grinding event that led up to it and how dark this day was. The whole thing went dark. All right, for an entire day. Then comes back to life, screeching again and back to activity. So this day right here was a power of one. All right, that's the day the core and everything kind of just really came to a little halt right there. You could see our line went from green to blue and then just went out right there. Again, kind of right there. So there's breaks in our line right there. That's another one of our issues right there. Now, you got to envision. Let me take you back here. Where was that other one we just had pulled up?
different.
Envision that you see the core here. So it's spinning, causing the earth to spin, right? And if you squeeze on this and you slow it down, well, the earth's still going to be spinning, but it's going to be spinning slower in comparison to the core, making it look like it stopped. It's still rotating a little bit, but compared to us, when it clamps down on that, it appears to be rotating backwards, because if it was going the same speed, just say for instance, it was rotating at the same speed we are, and you clamped on the brakes and slowed down its rotation. Well, if you slowed down its rotation and the outside stayed the same, in comparison, it would look like going backwards. That's what made everybody have a heart attack. Whoa, what happened? Did it go backwards? Well, I just showed you on the other one there. That's where the Schumann, and that day you cannot find anymore. It's hard to find this instrument, this catalog, this catalog of days here anymore. This site's gone where you could go back and look at, the historical record. But that day right there, and it was weird because all kinds of stuff led up to this. Then the flights were yanked that day, all kinds of earthquake, volcanic activity and stuff. And I thought, I wonder what's going on with magnetic field. What would be a good instrument that would show our magnetic field? Well, the Schumann is what produces it. So why not check the Schumann resonance? So I came over, checked the Schumann resonance for January 11th, and sure enough, that day was black at a power of one. Okay, and you'll see in this video, look, here's your other days. See all the green and blue for all the other days, except that day. Look how dark it went. All right, so that activity just happened again, and I showed it to you on the other Schumann resonance. All right, so enough of that. Now let's get on with our spiritual report and pull up some images for reading tonight. I got some stuff for you guys because I hear you. It's funny. This one channel says, do you hear me? Am I coming in? And everybody responds 5 by 5. Oh, it's funny because I respond 7 by 7. I can sense you and feel you too, which is the oddest thing. But I'm getting used to it. So here we go. Pull up this one for reading after a commercial, of course. Brian. Tell you about the code and the music. You guys ever want to hear about that part? What's the Schumann? The Schumann is the it's our magnetic field, okay? The core spins inside the outer core, the shell, I like to call it, all right? And it's that rotation of the core spinning inside the shell that propagates a magnetic field outward, out through the crust, Whoops. Oh, that's what's going on. We gotta. There we go. Propagates out through the crust and produces your magnetic field. That magnetic field hums at a certain frequency, okay? Just like electric voltage wires hum. All right, well, our electric voltage from the planet hums at a certain frequency, and it happens to be at 7.83. I'm trying to get these wavy lines out of there, so guess we'll just be fighting that tonight. All right, good question. Beautiful question, because that needs to be explained. A lot of people think the Schumann's produced this way or it's that way. It's the heartbeat of the earth. Well, it is the heartbeat of the earth. It's that spinning dynamo is what produces our magnetic field and protects us from radiation from the sun, even cosmic rays. All right, so great question. And, eventually these other scientists and their theories won't pan out, and they'll figure out, oh, wait a second, that's how it's done. That's what's propagating our magnetic field. And, some people have figured it out. Boy, this thing is just going to be all weird tonight. Oh, well, we got other images to pull up. So let me cancel out this other page. That one out of the way. And pull up the face by the moon, because that's a real event. That's a real face. Happens to be my face, which is kind of interesting, seeing as how I've been going through all this weird stuff, real paranormal activity in my life. It changed my life and forced me on this impossible journey. Well, not impossible. Not anything's impossible. All right, so we got that one pulled up, that one pulled up. Also, we'll pull up the what is wavy lines tonight? Bear with me here for a second while I pull some of these up, and I got some good reading for you guys tonight. Please, Lord, can we have the photos? Google. Let's go. Hello. Bear with me. Google's having issues. Look, I used to take pictures of lizards and nature and all the beautiful stuff. I was a normal guy just living my life, normal thing, going through, life's issues and stuff. And then all of a sudden, right before the Revelation 12 star alignment took place, all kinds of weird stuff started happening to me and around me, and I've been trying to document it all so everybody can understand what's going on. All right, so we got this image here, got this image there. We got some newcomers. Do we need to go back and explain some stuff here a little bit and cover some dot to dots? You guys think we could do that? Look at this half alien face over here. See this eye? And this half of the face is in, this side's in light and the other side's in shadow, but you can see this alien face right there. And then here's my face with a crown, and it's being propagated out from Jesus's heart right here. He's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. These love rays, or love, is radiating out of his heart, producing my face with a crown. All right, which means my face and his heart are the same. So when you seek my face, you find the heart of Jesus. And all your weather activity, all your paranormal activity is all coming from right there. Okay, it's the center of the universe, the Holy of Holies right there. Okay, and that's a real image. Real stuff been happening to me. I explained it in this video. I think most of you know already. So let's start get my lamp going here and start doing some reading. Let's get my face looking like the lamp is shining on it, because that's what it looks like here. on the other side of this camera. Okay. So I know the fear and anxiety, even though you practice this stuff, it still plagues you. And that's understandable because we're in some very perilous times. Okay. And those are natural feelings. Okay. So bring me all your feelings, even the ones you wish you didn't have, like fear and anxiety that still plague you. Feelings per se are not sinful, but they can be temptations to sin. Blazing missiles of fear fly at you day and night. These attacks from the evil one come at you relentlessly via your mainstream media. And that's up to you how much you plug in and unplug. But blazing missiles of fear fly at you day and night on the news, don't they? Mm-hmm. And these attacks are from the evil one, and they're coming at you relentlessly. So use your shield of faith to extinguish those flaming arrows. Use your shield of faith to extinguish those flaming arrows. Do you understand? When you affirm your trust in me, regardless of how you feel, if you persist, your feelings will eventually fall in line with your faith. So do not hide from your fear or pretend it's not there. Anxiety that you hide in the recesses of your heart will give birth to fear of fear. So now you're going to have this monstrous stepchild, the fear of fear. So do not hide from your fear or pretend it isn't there. And the anxiety that you hide in the recesses of your heart will give birth to the fear of fear, that monstrous stepchild. So bring your anxieties out into the light of my presence where we can deal with them together. Concentrate on trusting me, and fearfulness will gradually lose its foothold within you. When you see this right here, concentrate on trusting me, and fearfulness will gradually lose its foothold within you. Okay? Again, with this, my face, I told you seek my face, you see my heart there. So let me see this right there. Seek my face, and you will find that all that you have longed for. The deepest yearnings of your heart are for intimacy with me. Come back to this picture here. Let's go back to that one. It was meant to be read to this one. Okay, again, seek my face, and you will find all that you have longed for. The deepest yearnings of your heart are intimacy for me. I know because I designed you to desire me. So do not feel guilty about taking time to be still in my presence. You are simply responding to the tugs of divinity that are within you. I made you in my image. I hid heaven in your heart too. I made you in my image, and I hid heaven in your heart also. Your yearning for me is a form of homesickness, longing for your true home in heaven. So do not be afraid to be different from other people. The path I have called you to travel is exquisitely right for you. The more closely you follow my leading, the more fully I can develop your gifts. To follow me wholeheartedly, you must relinquish your desire to please other people. However, your closeness to me will bless others by enabling you to shine brightly in this dark world. It will enable you to shine like that face, okay? To follow me wholeheartedly, you must relinquish your desire to please other people. Your closeness to me will bless others by enabling you to shine brightly in this darkening world. Take a deep breath and relax and rest in my presence when you need refreshment. Resting is not necessarily idleness, as people often perceive it. When you relax in my company, you are demonstrating trust in me. Aha. How do we demonstrate trust in the Lord? When you relax in my company. That's how you demonstrate trust in me. Trust is a rich word. It's laden with meaning and direction for your life. I want you to lean on, trust, and be confident in me. Okay, go back to this one. No, right here. These images right here again. I want you to lean on and trust in me. The more you do, it's proportional. The more trust, the more you lean, the more confident you can be. It's proportional. However much you put in is how much you get back. So I want you to lean on. I want you to trust in me. I want you to be confident in me. And when you lean on me for support, I delight in your trusting confidence. That's another way I delight, is in your leaning on me for support. Now, many people turn and run away from me when they are exhausted. They associate me with duty and diligence, so they try to hide from my presence when they need a break from the world. Okay, that's not how it works. You can't just run and hide when you need a break from the world. That's not how this works. This is like boot camp. That saddens me when you try to run from this process. Okay. Find freedom through seeking to please me above all else. You can have only one master. So when you let others' expectations drive you, you scatter your energy to the wind. Your own desire to look good can also drain your energy. So remember, I am your master, and I do not drive you to be what you are not. Your pretense displeases me, especially when it's in my service. So concentrate on staying close to me at all times. It is impossible to be inauthentic while you are focusing on my presence. Do you know that? It's impossible to be inauthentic when you are focusing on my presence. Okay. In returning to me and resting in me, you shall be saved. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. And you guys are finding results. A bunch of you are tackling this world now like you're a bunch of go-getters. And find freedom. How do you find your freedom? Your freedom comes through seeking to please me. When you're seeking to please me and see from my perspective, that's how you find your freedom. When you let others' expectations drive you, well, then you're wasting your time and energy. Still with the fear and anxiety that still plague you, remember, do not hide your fear or pretend it isn't there. Your anxiety that you hide in the recesses of your heart will give birth to the fear of fear. Okay, we cannot have fear of fear. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, right? So this should quell all your fears right here. Anytime you're feeling anxious and fearful, you see latest headlines. Oh, great, this is happening. Oh, no, it's this. Remember, come over here. Look at this image right here. This is your rock. This is your foundation. This is your ultimate destination. So you have nothing to fear. You already have victory. You're just going through the motions of your endurance. You're enduring patiently. We work on our salvage work each day. Um, not every day is a perfect, great day. We have bad days and good days, and you got to salvage that day. You got to turn it around. The moment you start slipping into this self pity, this poor me, I can't do this. Why? Oh, poor me. Get your foot out of that self pity. Take a break, relax, connect with me. Lord, help me. I'm having this feel sorry, this pity party. Help me get over this and get away from that hole, because once you get your foot sliding in that direction, it's just this runaway train to depression. Okay. The moment you find yourself getting into that self pity, you need to stop as soon as you can. It's like a train that going in the wrong direction. You need to get off at the first stop and turn around and head the other direction. If you continue on that first train, continuing deeper and deeper into the wrong direction, it's going to take longer and longer to get back out of it. So the moment you start to feel that happening, take a break. Okay? It's important that we take breaks during the day, touch base with the Lord. Hey, doing this, I want to do that. Pray on it. Listen for that small inner voice inside that'll guide you. Okay? And as things ratchet up here in intensity around the world, your circumstances, you can still have peace in your circumstances. You know that it's all part of the script, that there is indeed a person who's got control, and I don't hurt my own. I don't hurt the ones I love. Okay, so I protect them. And you have protection. Trust me, believe me. When you do, something miraculous happens in your life. Okay, I've been through a lot these last 7 years. Unbelievable things that I still capture here, and then I try to bring it to people, and they don't see it, or they don't believe it, or they don't even bother to look. I went through 7 years of jail and institutions and all kinds of crazy mental health wards and stuff like that, all because nobody would look. It wasn't as if I was, making weird claims. I just said, hey, I captured something that you can see. Oh, you're seeing this and that? No, I've captured it. Go over, look at what I captured. Oh, no. I thought it was just a bunch of clouds. How do you know if you haven't looked? And I did 7 years of, a lot of hard things, but I learned a lot along the way. And take all those notes and pass them on to you, because you're going to be going through something similar, and you're going to have to overcome it each day. Each day is a new battle, and it's just about overcoming each day, salvaging it, getting back into that positive light, and then shining that light into other people's lives. Okay, love each other. It's the best you can do is, do unto others as you'd have done unto you. I mean, would you want help in a crisis? Well, help somebody else out in a crisis. Would you like somebody you can trust in? Well, then be someone that someone else can be trusted in. Try to be that example. A lot of this is just walking the walk. You don't have to go around so much, being biblical scripture, professor, knowing every little bit of the Bible and stuff like that. It's more of your spiritual walk. How do you maintain yourself around others? Do you walk the walk, or are you just a bunch of talk? There's a lot of people that do a lot of this and that, but then when it comes down to helping somebody else out, I can't do it right now. I'm busy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be that light, bring it into other people's lives, and when you do, you will find the joy that the Lord finds too. You feel better inside about yourself. You have a little self-esteem, not pride, but you can hold your head up knowing that you're serving your fellow brother. That's how this is done. That's what brings you, spirituality, where you can feel good and you're able to grow courage and be able to report on stuff like this someday when you have the courage to, it's built up over time and practicing this discipline over and over again until it becomes second nature. So the moment something comes up, you know exactly what to do. You pull that tool out of your toolbox. God, grant me the serenity to accept that I cannot change other people. I cannot change other people. Wow, I need to accept the fact that I can't change people. When you accept that, then your life becomes a little easier, and you're like, okay, focus on my walk, and how I'm doing my thing, right? So I think that's about all I have for you guys tonight. Okay, just bring your fears and anxieties to the forefront, bring them to me. Even your frustrations. I swear some of these rants that people, these tirades, could be turned into a valuable prayer if the words, Lord, please help me, were inserted before the rant. Otherwise, it sounds like a bunch of complaining. And I don't like complaining. I want to provide solutions. So you can't get the solutions without the Lord help me, please part first. Then lay into these people are nuts and they're doing this and that and that. I'm like, yeah, I know, I can relate. I see it all the time, right? And that's how this works. That's how you can get this off of your chest. Give it to me. I know exactly what to do with it. You overcome it when you give it to me, and I make these beautiful little collages of your glory. So you're each overcome. You overcame this, there's a glory. You overcame that, there's another glory. That's your face with a crown because you overcame something. Here's another day where you overcame something. There's another crown with your face over it. That's another glory. And you just keep glory, glory. As we do this patient endurance, you just keep going from glory to glory to glory to glory. Every time you include me in it, you're just making all these glory to glory to glory. Just keep going. Just keep going. All right? There's nothing stopping you when you add this in the mix. I swear to God, nothing is impossible anymore when you add this in the mix. Your mistakes become opportunities. There are no mistakes. Your circumstances, all of a sudden, you overcome them. You walk right through them like they're not even there. We don't go around. We don't dodge. We don't climb under. We walk right through stuff like it's not even there. You hold on to my hand and we're going to walk through everything together. You understand me? This is your anchor. This is your foundation. I am here. I am back. I told you I would be back. There would be signs. There would be earthquakes in diverse places, signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, all of which I've shown you. Then you would see signs in the heavens and on earth. Signs on earth. Well, if you see these signs, well, you're supposed to look up because your redemption, which is Jesus, is drawing nigh. That means he is here. Drawing nigh means is near. Near, well, could be here. Your redemption is here, already here, here. Remember that whisper in the wind where it said here, here. Okay, you now understand who you are now. Okay, this has all turned around and it's all about you and who you are and your identity. If you see my face here in the clouds coming with power and great glory, When I told you to look for the signs, look for me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. Your redemption draws nigh, is here. Okay? If you see me in the clouds coming with power and great glory, and you're intrigued about this, it's interesting, it's intriguing. You get caught up in it like a good book or a good movie or a good song or a good YouTube live stream. You get caught up in it. It takes you away from all your world for a minute, right? You get caught up with me in the clouds, where I've gone and prepared a place here at YouTube where I am, you can be also in the air, live streaming in cyberspace with me right here, right now. Okay, I can't physically come over to your house right now and give you a hug. So I meet my family in the air, where they see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. That's when they understand who their identity is. You are a true child of God. When you believe me and you receive this and you lean in trust on your foundation, that makes you a child of God, if you want it that bad. A little bit of trust, just a little bit, you'll see. And if it doesn't work right away, don't leave until the miracle happens. Sometimes it takes a minute, but then you will start to see the process unfold in your life, and you'll be back and you'll be part of this precious family. So thank you once again for taking time out of your precious time, out of your precious day, to be a part of this precious family. Because 5 minutes of an officer's time, 5 minutes of a judge's time, 5 minutes of a psychiatrist's time, so 5 minutes of my family time, 5 minutes of anybody's time, and they would have seen something beautiful. They would have received a gift that is worth more than gold, diamonds, and everything, worth more than the whole earth. But they didn't give 5 minutes of their time to just go look or trust me for, okay, I'll entertain this for 5 minutes, right? Tilt your head to the right. Where? I don't see anything, until you start to make it out, and then all of a sudden it becomes crystal clear, and then you do see something, and you have changed in the twinkling of an eye. Okay? It's because it's the real deal. You are caught up with me in the clouds. We are in the air of cyberspace, where I went and provided or made a place where I am, you could be, and we could meet in the air. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I got more going on in my life that I can even describe. So it might be a day or two until I come back with a report. I might be reporting on the road or something. Who knows? But I have a big battle, a journey ahead of me here in the next couple of days. So if I'm not here tomorrow night, I will be back. Do not fret. When you're fretting, come back over to this channel, watch a replay, all right, or whatever it takes. If you want to hear my voice, again, go hit a replay or go listen to an older show, or, if that's what you need sometimes. That's, I do. I like some certain shows that I like to hear somebody's voice. It soothes me in the morning when I hear them reporting on the Lord and stuff. So if you need, don't forget, you could always come and watch a replay. But if I'm not here tomorrow night, I will be back. I am already back. I have been for 7 years. Can't you tell? Love you all. Bye.